Good evening. Tonight we want to talk about the influence of the ancient Babylonian and pre-Babylonian myths upon Gnostic theories of art. It's one of my favorite subjects because I believe that as far as history is concerned, we should never say anything should be wasted. We should understand that what we are trying to throw away, toss out of history's pages, will come back. And so if you're a sane, creative historian, you will retain everything, and you will say everything is part of the picture. Sooner or later, it will be connected to everything in the picture. Tonight, we're talking about the image that was painted about 30 years ago of Gilgamesh. My interpretation of the Epic of Gilgamesh, which of course is an ancient Babylonian creation, shall we say, disruption myth, is quite simply the power of the ancient Sumerian unconscious to influence the Babylonian and then later the Assyrian. So when I use words, those three words, I'm going to use them in somewhat interchangeable within the same ancient family. I'm quite aware that the Sumerians are not thought of as actually Semitic peoples, but as Mongolian in origin. Well, we're not going to talk about the Sumerians and the Tibetan Bonbons tonight, no. But what we are going to talk about is how images are so powerful that they constantly come back to us in history as if the same recurring dream molds whole civilizations and religious patterns in human history. Well, individuals who belong to a Chaldean or Babylonian mystical society might recognize this as something they would have on their altar or behind the altar, representing, in their sense, in their context, the crucifixion that the Catholic Church would have on the walls behind their altar of sacrifice. And here we have certain elements also part of the creation mythology. In other words, the blue at 4 points, north, south, east, and west, of the square of space illustrating the mystery, and then the arches representing elemental forces, and above all, the fact that Gilgamesh's figure, which is done in a semi-Sumerian style, Gilgamesh's figure is surrounded by a kind of primitive script, which I thought might be close to the sacred language of the Chaldeans, the sacred priesthood language, which they of course knew and which was part of their spellbinding technology and never shared with anyone outside of their mystical priesthood. But here I want you to look at the hands of Gilgamesh. It's as if his hands, his fists are clenched, representing defiance, representing power, representing strength to overcome and to free himself and to build a universe. This is a very important mythical concept because whatever is bound will be freed, whatever is freed will be transformed, and whatever is transformed will first manifest under the confinements of what will be ultimately destroyed. This ancient recycling and mystical myth, or shall we say theodicy and theology and theogony, these different ways of looking at the universe in terms of gods and the action with human beings are part of human nature, so that from my perspective, a person who says that there is no God or no spirit or no mystical world is like someone who says, well, I will never eat any sweets. I will never have anything to make my life happy. I will never have anything in my life to make me joyful and creative because everything is bleak. Well, it's not bleak, and history, in its cycling and recycling of myths and cosmic energies and Gnostic, especially these forces, these symbolic words surrounding the figure of Gilgamesh, they are actually formulas for a physics, a mystical physics that appeals to the artist. Something like a Necronomicon physics written in an ancient Sumerian or Semitic hieroglyphic script that will, in a sense, give us the key, the very key to human history and all the secrets of history. And the fact that Gilgamesh is looking so defiant and so strong, and strength in his defiance, strength in his affirmation of self-will, and mastery of the four elements, because the four elements are locked in their places, and the water of the universe, the Akasha, is locked in its places. This represents, to my mind, the will of the magician, the magical deity at the center of the universe, who has said, everything that is given I will use, and everything that is used will be transformed and made part of a divine history and plan. Now here we have something that's so powerful, such a mystical and yet strengthening image. In a sense, this is the basic philosophy of yoga, spiritual transformation of oneself in the very essence of one's being a body surrounded by the four elements, and within oneself the Akasha, the universal soul, the Alaya, the principle that says all things will unfold, and when they unfold, all things will be one. Thank you for appreciating with me this image of man's spiritual climb into greater and greater comprehensiveness of vision through Gnostic art. Good evening.